This is a quick MVP of a project that I've been working on. At a high level, this project will generate narratives about soccer players given their recent performance and recent news articles about them. So for example, I'm going to select a player name. And once I select a player, I can click on Generate Narrative. And under the hood, my LLM agent is going to start researching this player. You can see here, they're first going to query some of their performance stats for this season, and also going to look at recent news articles about the player, and then from there, generate a narrative about the player. So you can see here it's doing multiple attempts to read sources, and then here we generate a narrative about the player. So it mixes a data-driven approach and also some human element storytelling here. And also at the end, we have a list of sources that were used to generate the narrative. So some of the writing here is a little dramatic and kind of robotic, but that's something we can fix. But the key thing I want to emphasize here is that the narrative is being generated by real facts, like real sources, and also there's the data-driven approach where we're looking at player stats and generating some story from that. Now, how is this actually getting created, or how does this actually work? So here's a quick diagram of what's going on. So everything here is LLM based. So first we're going to get a user input. In this case, the user input is going to be the player name. Then we take the player name and pass it into a prompt template. The prompt template is basically going to ask the agent for a narrative with certain conditions. Then we pass in that filled in prompt template to the agent. And now the agent needs to retrieve relevant data to generate a compelling story about the player. And the agent has two ways of accessing data. One is through traditional RAG, and the other is through SQL retrieval. So for traditional RAG, I have already collected a lot of news articles about different players. I've created embeddings from those articles and then stored it into a vector store. So for traditional RAG, the agent will pass along the template and retrieve articles as relevant to the query, and then from there generate a narrative. Also, the agent has the option to do SQL retrieval. So I've already created a database full of player stats, and so for SQL retrieval, it's going to generate relevant SQL queries to retrieve the data. So as you saw in the demo, the agent does not have to pick one tool. In fact, it can pick multiple tools and multiple times. So the agent will call these tools to collect all the relevant data, and then from there, generate a final response. And that final response is what we see here in the narrative.